Right.
All right, let's get it started.
Right.
I've been running full court press in the
TD
pickup.
Report.
Really, I've been getting to it. I've been
TK.
chasing after moolah. Now this shit is working
What's up,
out like
brother?
a
And Dave
setup.
Combs. I'm your
If a
host
nigga want to
with the most. Tony, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, I'm feeling well, man. I'm feeling well.
Feeling good?
Ready.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, Cody, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Dave? How's it going, man?
It's going great. Hey, listen, let's get the show.
You're not blessing us with your face tonight again?
No, because I'm driving.
No.
So
Okay.
yeah, I gotta have my hands free because I have to hold this thing sideways.
Yep.
Want to make sure that we get this show started because we had to kind of cut it short on Monday. Cody, I want you to go into a little bit more on the Commanders', big win last week. I think more needs to be discussed about that, as well as the Jaden Daniels angle, because he's picking up steam nationally. People are noticing; they're talking about him. So, go into that just a little bit to kind of kick the show off for us.
I mean, my thing is this: like the kid's gonna get plenty of the publicity, plenty of the hype. It's going to happen. I mean, it happens with any player who comes out who looks as good as he does. I mean, he's breaking records. It's great. But to be honest, you can find a record in anyone's game. The tail of the tape is what's going to be the decider of Jaden Daniels, and that's if he can continue to keep doing this, if he makes big plays, and he does incredible things throughout the whole season to push this team to where people didn't think they would be this first year with all these young players and all these rookies. Then I think the crazy amount of hype that's coming in for him will be very well warranted. Right now, it's just media running away with stories, and I think he played a great game. I think a lot of the credit also needs to go to Cliff Kingsbury. This was his kind of revenge game playing against the Cardinals, the team that he was the head coach for. And I think a lot of the way that the plays were called, the way that they were kind of schemed to Jaden and what his skill sets are is something we haven't seen in Washington for a very long time. And I think it just felt good overall. I think the big thing is that people usually don't take into account is like morale and momentum. And when everybody that's on that field, when all 11 guys on both sides of the ball are playing for each other and having fun over everything else, I mean, you look out there, it's all smiles. Every single player on that team is smiling from ear to ear every play, especially Jaden, and that's where it starts at. And so when everyone's playing for everyone else and they play like that and they're having fun out there, they're going to play good. That's when you're in your best form. I don't care who you are, what team you are. When that's what you're doing with everybody on the field, you're going to play like what they're playing like. Now, if they can continue that momentum, continue that attitude, bring that emotion, and ride that wave, I think they can do some great things on the shoulders of Jaden Daniels.
Tony, it looks like – thanks, Cody. That's excellent. Tony, it looks like Dallas's loss and Dan Quinn is Washington's gain. And I have no issue with Dan Quinn leaving in the division. It was his time to become a head coach again. He's been to a Super Bowl as a coach. He has an NFC championship as a head coach. Okay? How he's doing a great job on a very short window, and new ownership, new coach, new quarterback, and more power to him. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, again, what I stress about management. When Dallas lost to Green Bay, they had a couple options. They could have cut McCarthy and gone with the obvious guy who took their defense from next to last all the way up to top 10, top 5. Now, the smart thing would have been to hire him. But again, Jerry Jones don't do the smart thing. And actually, Washington did the smartest thing because they had a lot of people to hire. The reason why they hired Dan Quinn is 1, he knows the division. 2, he knows the Cowboys. So he knows the
defense too. Because I'll say
everything.
Tony, I was disappointed when they hired him, and I take it all back. I bite all them words because I was upset when that's who they settled with out of the amount of coaches that were out there. And, I gave it a chance. I said, okay, well, let's see what he can do. And, I mean, he definitely
Cody, the reason why you should never been mad about it is because he was.
I wouldn't say mad. I just thought a different path would have been better.
You weren't
What
impressed.
people don't
Cody, you weren't
realize
impressed
is-
with this.
Yeah, I wasn't.
get it.
I wasn't.
Dan Quinn is 10 seconds away from being a person that never have to pay for anything else in Georgia. It took the biggest comeback in the history of the NFL for him in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, for him to not be a hero. Had
And a mistake by Kyle
Super Bowl,
Shanahan.
Oh,
he
yeah.
would have been, the man. So all I'm talking, what I tell them is what I tell Washington fans. If you guys are Detroit from 2 years ago, when they threatened to make the playoffs that last 2 weeks, and then the next year when I picked them to go to the Super Bowl and their coaching cost them the Super Bowl, if you guys are anywhere near them, the reason why I think you're going to be better than them is because they did it with an old quarterback. You guys will be doing it with a quarterback on a rookie deal, and which it makes all the differences of the world. People need to understand that, I'm going to speak to you on the Cowboy side. Cowboy side, I hate what you're doing. On the football side, you guys are making smart moves. Now, don't get it twisted. You beat a couple of 1-3 teams. That doesn't matter because you could be 1-3 had you lost to those teams. So we would be talking something different. So you have to look at the style that they are playing. I put out a chart today. Look at all the teams who are leading the league in rushing. Those are the teams late in the year that they're going to be like, okay, these are the teams who have a better chance to make the Super Bowl. Washington is a dangerous team only because they don't know any better. They don't know what they don't know what they don't know. So Dan Quinn, he's one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys that can rally the people around him. And the word that I got is that he's gonna fight like hell for Micah Parsons if they mess that up. So, I mean, when you get a good hire, you guys have to take it and roll with it. And I'm happy for the Washington fans because really, the NFL is no good if you don't have Washington, one of the 5 to 10 best franchises ever, right there competing week to week. You got all these raggedy other teams. I'd rather yell at the Redskin fans or the Commander fans than yell at all these other new fans or these new teams. And I'm happy they're doing well. Football is back in the DMV, and you guys are doing a hell of a job. Don't let the haters tell you that you're not doing a great job. You have one of the best young prospects. I say by 2026, y'all hear me right now, by 2026, Jalen Day will be the best quarterback in the NFL, period. He can run it as good as Lamar, and he can throw it as good as Patrick Mahomes. There's not going to be anybody close to that guy.
Let's also look at this, guys. Dan Quinn, when he was in Dallas, was one of the hottest coordinators in the league almost since for first year's results in Dallas, turning that defense around, making it a dangerous defense, was an attacking defense, and I believe they were in the top 5 or 10 all the years that he was in Dallas.
Yep.
Dallas right now is the 29th ranked defense in the league. Okay, so like Tony said, that's a great double whammy. You get the guy that you want, and then you take the guy away from one of your competitors. That's how you do business in this league. That's how you win divisions. And currently, right now, Washington, according to ESPN's metrics, has a 43% chance of making the playoffs. And let's call it what it is. Any Washington fan that says at the beginning of the year, when the day that they drafted Jaden Daniels, before they even saw him play, if you had told them, hey, you're going to have a 40% chance of making the playoffs, they would run to Vegas with that, wouldn't they, Cody?
Absolutely. I mean, shit, I put a bet in on them winning the Super Bowl for $10, and it pays out like $1,000. I got it before the offseason, before the draft.
It was 100-1. That was 100-1.
Yeah. So I think
Damn.
I think I had an odds boost. I think I had a profit boost.
Okay.
But so whatever it ended up coming out to. Let me pull it up actually.
But you're gonna have Dave. You're gonna have haters. You're gonna have people.
Sure.
It's 100-1, Dave. I put $10 on them, and it pays out $1,010.
Woo!
That's awesome.
Plus 10,000.
You should have put it on the division. And
yeah, I did.
What was the odds on the division?
$10 pays me $750.
Well, there you go. There's your real
75-1. It was 75-1 to win the division.
This was before the draft and everything.
Hey,
wow.
But you gotta hope, Cody. You gotta hope that the only team that you gotta worry about is Philly stay hurt.
Yeah. As long as Philly stays hurt.
Well, beginning of the season, Washington was plus 1,300 to win the division, and I mean now they're plus 260.
Woo!
In 4 weeks, it's plus 260 to take that bet now, and you could have taken it a month ago at plus 1,300. TK, you can't beat that. And honestly, think about this: after they beat the Giants, thanks to Malik Neighbors' drop on 4th down, because that changed the entire complexion of the game right there. Okay,
that happens.
Imagine those odds if they had lost to the Giants. You'd probably be able to pick them up at 500 plus 500. But now you take Washington. What's that?
And we had an argument earlier with Cody on the blog. So we argued about Washington and Baltimore being flexed out. Now, the unfortunate thing is in the DMV, that would be a huge game in the DMV, and it's a huge game for the NFL. And I told Cody that they were going to fight it because CBS is located where? New York. Yep. Who's playing? New York. And they're going against Joe Burrow. So although it's Jaden Daniels Heisman Trophy versus Lamar Jackson Heisman Trophy, nothing trumps New York versus Joe Burrow. To them, that is the reason why they don't want to switch. But I am telling you, we're on a week countdown to one of the biggest games that the Ravens and the Redskins have ever played since the Ravens have been around. This is going to be
amazing.
Huge. And
I think the bigger game was probably the Ravens game the year that RG3 got injured.
What's up, Shay?
Yeah, I mean, but this is Dave. I think this is going to be electric. I called it the other day. I think
sure.
It's going to be one of the top 5 games all year long. I think the viewership is going to be crazy. It's just something about it that's going to bring that electricness that people want to see. That's why I think they're going to flex it. I really think they're going to flex it. And if they don't,
you see, CBS ain't letting them do it. CBS got the game, and CBS is holding on to it, and CBS have to agree, and CBS ain't giving up that game because that game is too good for CBS located in New York with Joe Burrow. Now, if it would have been any other team, not Dallas or any other team, they would flex it. But you got New York, and it's just unfortunate that New York has that night game. And it's politics on this. This is big. Hey, Dave, when you say about the money and the politics on this, CBS want their money, man.
CBS is going to get their money, but you also have to ask this, guys, and this is one of the problems with having multiple networks with the TV deal. The one problem with it is what's in the best interests of the league, the Shield, okay? Getting this matchup, when you did the schedule, it just came down to divisional opponents, and this was the year that Washington is going to play the AFC North, right? So, I mean, the AFC North, and that's great. But you've got this matchup here that's now developed with, with Derrick Henry going over to the Ravens. That's huge to be paired up with multiple MVP in Lamar Jackson. And then by luck of the draw, Washington is able to draft Jaden Daniels, and he has come out the first 4 games of the season, man, hot as the oven door. Okay, he's a major mover. This is good for the league. This needs to be a nationally televised game.
Well, Shane said play both games at night. Shane, they
Yeah.
can't do it per the contract. They can't.
Right.
They can't do it. And
Ravens limit is 5 games. Yeah, Ravens have 5 nationally televised games, and that is quote unquote the limit. And at that point, it's a contractual obligation, and getting that broken is very difficult to do. So, it's interesting. There have been major deals that have been done. Guys, this is like Macy's and Gimpels. This is like Coca-Cola and Pepsi shaking hands and doing a deal together, right? You just aren't going to see that happen. And unfortunately, most of the nation is going to be locked into that Cincinnati Bengals game with the Giants, and all eyes are going to be on the Ravens and, the Commanders. And I think, like Cody said, it's going to be electric. A multiple-time MVP, Super Bowl contending team going up against the boy who would be king, and I think that's the storyline that needs to be, brought forward.
So, hey, Dave, is the
Yes,
good old Beltway battle of the Beltways, Beltway Classic.
Hey, crab cakes versus mumbo sauce, man.
Yeah,
Let's
crab
go.
cakes versus mumbo sauce. Go-go versus house.
Go-go versus house music. That's right.
It's a classic that if you're living in Columbia or Laurel, folks, you're
on the border.
in those bars because those people gonna be fighting.
It's a mix. That's where the border is.
That's where the border
go
is.
up for
Columbia and
Gaithersburg.
Laurel is where that border is, and slowly the Ravens have been taken, but now I'm seeing the dust come off the Washington shirts. I'm seeing more W's out here traveling in the neighborhood. And folks, this is going to be big. It's going to be for the look, the Ravens going to be fighting for the lead in their division. Washington's going to be fighting to hold on. It's going to be everything that, oh my God, I cannot wait for that game. I cannot wait.
Let's segue into today's breaking news. There are reports out of Miami that injured Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa might try to come back by week 8 to quote unquote save the season. Buy or sell on this, Cody?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat it? Our Instagram was going off. Make sure everybody follows our Instagram.
Tua coming back. Do you buy or sell?
By week 8, Tua Tagovailoa comes back by week 8 to salvage the season. Do you buy that?
8. Not by week after. I take the over on week 8.
Take the over on week 8. Let's ask the real question: should he come back?
I don't think that's up to us. I think that's up to him. I mean, my thing is this: we saw a guy die on the field, literally die on the field, and come back to play and make good plays and seem perfectly fine. So I think if doctors, the professionals who know what they're talking about, clear him and tell him that he can play, and if it's versus all the doctors saying you shouldn't go ever on the field again, it's a different story. But if they clear him and say he's good to go and he can come and play, and he wants to, he absolutely should. I mean, that's
Cody. Who was the guy that died on the field?
Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin.
Okay, so it leads right into what I'm about to say. Damar Hamlin was the one who tackled him, and when he looked up, he saw Damar Hamlin.
Yep.
Listen, if you're not Christian, you don't believe in the Lord, don't mind me. But if a guy who died twice on the field now injured me, and I look up and I see him standing over me like this, that's the good Lord telling me it's time, dog. It's time to go ahead and get up out of here. Because
I take
honestly,
it differently.
On that play, Damar Hamlin held up when he hit him.
Yeah, I take that differently though. I take that as him looking up at Damar Hamlin, going, oh, "Okay, this isn't it." Like,
no,
this man wasn't here last year. He had left.
Well, guess what? If it wasn't Damar Hamlin, and he didn't understand the physical nature, it could have been somebody else who could have paralyzed him and taken him out. When I looked up and saw Damar Hamlin, the way I think with spirituality, I'd have been like, nope, I'm done. I'm gone. This is it. I'm taking my money because, first of all, I know that I'm prone to all these things. And the guy who died twice, is the one who hit me, and he held up when they keep showing it. Damar Hamlin held up, and he got up, and he did like he really didn't want to hurt this man. That was the good Lord saying, hey, man, I'm telling you, stay the hell away from this game. That's just me.
I'm going to chime in on this. I'm going to chime in on this. Tua Tagovailoa stands to make, I believe, $170 million if he never plays another down of football. In other words, if that's the injury that causes him to not be medically cleared, by Miami Dolphins management, he gets $174 million of his contract. Is that? Do I have that right? I think I'm pretty close on that.
Yeah, he's set for life, so he'll be set.
He's set for life. I would say this: if it was my kid, if it was me personally, I would take the $170 million and walk, because
love the game.
We don't know enough about the body in terms of the brain, how many concussions somebody can take that is clearly susceptible to concussions. Okay. And it is not worth possibly being a vegetable. It is not worth losing your cognitive abilities or any of your cognitive abilities. And you've already got a 9-figure amount all set up. I'll go back in another direction. The person we should be speaking to on this is Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann played in an NFL where a $100 million contract was unheard of. Okay. It didn't exist. He was looking at making a couple of million after his catastrophic leg injury if he had set foot on another football field again. Maybe a few $1 million. Okay. It wasn't worth it then for him to come back. I get it. It wasn't worth it then.
My thing is, Dave, I just don't. You take that risk every time you step on the field at any point in time in your career. From the point that you get on the field as your rookie season first day to the day that you retire, you take that risk every time. Now, if his risk is heightened a bit, that's a risk that if he's willing to take it, then he can take it. I don't think that should be up to anyone else to say, oh, you shouldn't be playing. You know what I mean? Because you still take that risk no matter what. He could literally be walking into his house, trip and fall, and hit his head on the door and do the same damn thing. So it's like, why not do it? Doing it while doing something that you love and that you enjoy doing, that's paying for all of your family and generational wealth. I mean, why not go do it if that's what he wants to do? I think if he's cleared and has a chance to do it, there should be no question that he'll be out on the field.
As a doctor, you have to make decisions like this or give medical opinions to players or to teams as far as what their risk would be by putting a player on the field, whether it's an ankle, a knee, a shoulder, or a concussion or a spinal situation. Tony remembers David Wilson at Virginia Tech, who was with the New York Giants. He has spinal stenosis, and another head or neck injury could have caused him to be paralyzed. Now, as some of you might know, David Wilson is my ex-wife's cousin. So he's literally cousin David to her, right? So he's in retirement, all right? And by the way, Tony, he's doing fine. He's doing great. But just thinking about the potential of sitting with a doctor, you're looking at x-rays and medical charts, and he or she is telling you, hey, listen, this is what could happen in the type of sport that you play, the amount of collisions you take, this could happen, right? And you are medically cleared to play. Or a doctor might not want to put his or her name on any type of certification, that nobody wants to be the guy or gal that cleared this young man to play. And God forbid, he has another head or neck injury, and he's a vegetable for life. You don't want your name on that report. You just don't.
Yeah, but I mean, they probably have their name on all of those reports for other people who don't play NFL too. I don't know, man.
This is tough.
I think it all comes down to what they say.
I mean, I didn't give this to you guys in production because I wanted to get, a fresh perspective, and I didn't want you guys to have an opinion already ready. That's why I sprung it on you. I saw this come across the feed earlier, and I wanted to get kind of fresh opinions, from our panel on it. Anybody that's listening tonight, TD Report, definitely hit the text section. I want you to give us your opinion. Should Tua Tagovailoa play? Should he retire? Should he just sit out the rest of the season? I mean, this is a hot topic, And it's also very real. Okay. This is a man's life we're talking about. But at the same time, I'll end that piece of it and we'll move on to the next topic. I'll say this. When I watch youth football, like Tony, when I go down into Gambrills and I watch the kids at the Gork program play, and I love seeing the youngsters play, I just don't want to see a kid get hurt. You know, when I watch St. John's and Gonzaga play, yeah, I root for my high school. I root for SJC. I just don't want to see a kid get hurt. I don't like to see that. And I know being injured is part of the game, but I'm not talking about sprained ankles or a bruised shoulder here. I don't want to see somebody really altered for life. I'd say the same thing about the pros. I really appreciate you guys' perspective on this. And,
I mean,
you know,
my
as always,
thing, yeah. Another thing that I look at it like, and you can use another example, is when Peyton Manning had his neck surgery. And he came back and he won a Super Bowl off of that. I mean, they told him.
What about Andrew Luck?
He got three different, opinions on that, and they all told him he shouldn't play, and he still came back, and my man literally broke the record for most touchdowns in a season that year.
What about
Andrew
Luck?
Luck?
I mean, it's a tough call, man. It really comes down to what he feels, I think, because if he knows himself more than anyone else. He knows if he's not right to go play, and he knows if he is. And I think it's the same kind of vibe. Like Peyton, man, he knew. Even though they told him he shouldn't go play, he knew with his style of play that he could still go out and do it one more time. He wanted to. And he did amazing things when he did it. So, it's tough. It's tough.
So we've got, what's the Thursday night game tonight? Who do we have?
Falcons versus Saints?
Yeah.
Is it?
No. Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay Falcons.
Tampa Bay versus the Falcons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At Atlanta. It's in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yep, in Atlanta. So it's going to be a good game.
NFC South matchup. And let's be honest. Nobody was expecting the NFC South to have three decent teams at this stage. We thought it was going to be a runaway for one of the teams. But we have the Falcons here in prime position to make something happen here. And, Tampa Bay, let's give a shout out to Baker Mayfield. We'll also give a shout out to the Vikings, Sam Darnold, two former Carolina Panthers quarterbacks who are in the top 10 in the NFL in touchdowns at quarterback. Pretty cool, huh?
Hey, it's
pretty
cool when let's give a shout out to Shane Hilliard. He's been riding with those Redskins, Commanders, like Cody. He's been riding or die with their team. You got to appreciate when they know it's down and the seasons are bad and they stay with their team. You give them props when it's going well now because they've been riding with the team. You got to give them props when they ride with their teams. I don't like the people who see that bandwagon and they just jump on. I like the people who stay thick or thin with their team. Now, as we get into it now, we're going to preview this, but we got to talk about that Dallas-Pittsburgh game because I think it's a make or break for Dallas.
Well, they just had one last week. They just had one on Thursday. Yeah.
No. Dallas lose to Pittsburgh and it gets ugly. I think the season is gone. I think the season is gone. It becomes a two-team race for the NFC East. Dallas beats Pittsburgh because, Pittsburgh's a style that play. They run first. They got a quarterback that can run, and they play good defense. Those are the things that Dallas can't play against. If Dallas beats Pittsburgh, then Dallas, they're in for the long haul. We're about to find out when they don't have Lawrence, Parsons, Crooks. They don't have all these guys playing. And they're playing against a team who can run the ball. We're about to find out who the Cowboys really are, Dave.
Well, defensive tackle DeMarcus Lawrence is on IR, so he's definitely out. And let me see, Micah Parsons is listed as doubtful. So
he's not playing.
Doubtful. What's
out.
That?
Micah's not playing.
So they have him out. So the last I looked at ESPN, they had him as doubtful. So if they've downgraded him
Cooks
to
is
out,
also out.
Brandon Cooks is out. Okay.
He's got an infection after a procedure.
Well, we're going to find out how well Will McClay drafted, because we're going to see what's on that. Basically, we're going to see what's on the 2 deep. What did Marv Levy say? Depth is great until you have to use it.
We're about to find out the heart, if they got heart of you know what, or if they got heart of a champion. And we're about to find that out early October. So it is what it is. Like Young said, it is what it is. And that's
you either mildew or barbecue. What's it gonna be?
And it's part of the sport. This NFL season, I love it. This is great because all these teams that nobody expect to do anything, they're right in the mix. And this is what the commissioner was looking for. This is what everyone was looking for. And I love this season because I like it, because these teams that we thought that weren't going to be that good, they're surprising. And that keeps us watching, and it keeps everybody gambling. It keeps all of us going. I like it because now my Washington people, when they in my ear, they got a reason to be in my ear. They're not in my ear just talking out of hatred. They in my ear talking because they peoples are pretty damn good. See, there's a difference. Since Obama was president, they haven't been able to do nothing. They've been talking, but they ain't been walking. And now they got a shot. If Philly don't get this stuff together, Washington could be a problem because of the way that they can run the football and they can settle. If a quarterback's hitting 80% completion, listen, man, you want to have to do something to rattle him. What? You put everybody in the box? So now you're man-to-man. You don't want man-to-man is easy for these quarterbacks. Where you want is combination man zone to get him mixed up. Right now, the game is slow to Jaden Daniels because a lot of teams running zero man. You run zero man against a young dude like that, and if you don't get to him, you done.
Hey, Cody, it comes down to coaching. Imagine a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury getting his hands on a Justin Fields very early in his career before Chicago screws him up.
I mean, he had Kyler Murray, though.
But I'm talking about Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
But see, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference because Justin Fields needed some development too. I think Cliff learned a lot from his time in Arizona.
Yeah, coordinating a pro offense.
But he always was a quarterback guru. If Justin Fields would have had someone like him.
Oh, you're just saying versus actually.
Yeah, versus what he had. What happened?
He could have developed him a lot better, absolutely. But Justin Fields is looking decent.
Coaching matters
this year.
Coaching
matters.
Running game matters. Defense matters. Coaching matters.
Between Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, and Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields doesn't have the level of arm talent the other two guys that we're talking about have. I'll say that. Right. And that's fine. But what I'm talking about with Cliff Kingsbury is he's able to work with a quarterback to determine where his windows are of the throws that this guy particularly can make. And then all he's doing with Jaden Daniels is I'm just making sure 80% of the plays that I'm calling are throws that we know he can make. Okay, consistently. And his accuracy is amazing, and that's great. Justin Fields is obviously not.
Apparently, we got a score already in the Falcons.
7-0 Falcons.
7-0 Falcons. Hey, Cody, get it in, baby.
Cody and Dave.
Yeah,
we're gonna wrap it up.
But we're gonna wrap it up. Hey, post-mortem to the Baltimore Orioles. Hey guys, lots of young talent in Baltimore with the Orioles. Y'all didn't win another playoff game, so you guys are now 0-4 in the playoffs in your last 4 games. You only scored 1 run in 2 games, both of them in Baltimore. You got to do something. Something's got to change in Baltimore fast. Shout out to the Kansas City Royals. They get to advance to play the New York Yankees in the division series. That's all I got on baseball. We'll talk more about that.
That's an old school matchup right there. Hey,
make sure everybody goes and follows the new Instagram page. It's called the TD. It's just at the TD Report.
Thanks a lot.
Instagram page.
Flip to the page.
Report.
Yeah.
Hey, good deal. Great show, guys. Thanks a lot, Cody. Appreciate
Thanks a
it.
lot, y'all.
Enjoy the game, folks.
Nigga want to smoke high and ready
See
to
y'all.
bring it to you. I've been focused on the wins though. Finally think a nigga found his tempo. I've been focused on the wins though. Finally think a nigga found his tempo. I've been running plays. Don't too social, catch me flexing out in traffic, nigga. Keep it simple, no designer. Still I major. R. Kelly niggas only doing minor. Born in Carolina, coldest nigga next to JCO. LE reminder. I've been focused on the wins though. Walkie talkie, well connected tenfold. Got these niggas fishing like they Jimbo. Show up in the trench coat. Got it out the trenches. If you started, I'ma finish it. 5-star place, I did so.